I work night shifts at Riverside Memorial Hospital, and last Tuesday, I pronounced a man dead who's been texting me ever since. It started during my 11 p.m. rounds. Room 409 had been empty for 3 weeks after what happened to Mrs. Chun. But that night, the door was cracked open, and I could hear the heart monitor beeping steadily inside. My supervisor Sandra must have admitted someone without updating the system. It happens when we're understaffed. I pushed the door open. The smell hit me first. Copper and formaldehyde, with something sweet underneath, like rotting fruit. In the bed lay an elderly man, maybe 70, his skin the color of old newspaper. His eyes were closed, but his chest rose and fell with mechanical precision. "Sir," I whispered, checking his chart. But there was no chart, no bag, no identification bracelet, just the heart monitor showing a perfect 60 BPM. I reached for his wrist to check his pulse manually. His skin was ice cold, almost frozen, and I couldn't find a heartbeat despite what the monitor showed. Then his eyes snapped open. Not gradually, but instantly, like a doll's. They were completely white. No iris, no pupil, just clouded marble. "You're late," he said, his voice like grinding concrete. "I've been waiting since 1987. I stumbled backward. I'll get the doctor." "The doctor is already here," he said and smiled. His teeth were filed to points. "Check your pocket." My hand moved against my will to my scrubs pocket. Inside was a folded piece of paper I'd never seen before. Written in what looked like dried blood were the words, "Time of death, 11:47 p.m. I looked at the clock. 11:46. The heart monitor flatlined. The man's mouth opened wider than any human jaw should stretch, and a sound like 1,000 voices screaming erupted from his throat. I ran down the hallway as lights flickered off behind me, as doors slammed open and shut, as something wet and heavy dragged itself after me. I made it to the nurse's station where Sandra sat calmly typing. "Did you pronounce Mr. Morrison in 409? She asked without looking up. "There's no one in 409, I gasped. "That room's been empty." She turned to me, and her eyes were white like his. "Not anymore. I quit that night. Drove home shaking, called in my resignation from my car. But at exactly 11:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You can't pronounce me dead if you never checked properly." Every night since, at 11:47, I get the same text. Last night, it came with a photo of me, sleeping in my bed, taken from inside my room. The timestamp showed 11:46. Tonight, I'm writing this at 11:45. My phone is on the table in front of me. I can smell copper and formaldehyde. The air is getting cold. It's 11:46 now. I can hear breathing that isn't mine. The phone is ringing. I bought the mirror at an estate sale for $3, and now I know why the previous owner killed herself. It was massive, 7 feet tall, framed in carved black wood that felt warm to the touch. The seller, a nervous woman with bandages over her eyes, practically begged me to take it. "Just get it out," she whispered. "Please, just get it away from here." I thought she was being dramatic. Mental illness, probably. The mirror was beautiful, and for $3, I loaded it into my truck immediately. The first night, I hung it in my bedroom. My reflection looked wrong. Not obviously, just slightly off. Like when someone edits a photo badly. My face was mine, but the proportions were subtly incorrect. My eyes seemed a millimeter too far apart. My smile stretched a hair too wide. The second night, my reflection moved a half-second late. I'd raise my hand, and it would follow just barely behind. I told myself it was exhaustion, stress from work, But when I turned off the lights, I swear my reflection didn't. It stood there in the darkness of the mirror, visible despite the pitch-black room, watching me sleep. Night 3, it stopped copying me entirely. I woke at 3:33 a.m. to see my reflection standing at the mirror's edge, palms pressed against the glass from the inside. Its mouth was moving, forming words I couldn't hear. I approached slowly, my real hands shaking. As I got closer, I could make out what it was saying. "Let me out. You're not real," I whispered. Smiled. Not my smile, something else wearing my face. "Then why are you afraid?" The glass began to crack. Not from my side, from within. Spiderweb fractures spread as my reflection pushed harder, its features distorting with effort. Black liquid seeped through the cracks, dripping onto my carpet with a sound like breathing. I grabbed a baseball bat and swung. The mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces, each shard reflecting a different version of me. Some were screaming, some were laughing, some were clearly dead with hollow sockets and gray skin. But the largest piece, lying in the center of the broken glass, showed the truth. It wasn't my reflection trying to get out. It was me, trapped inside the mirror, watching something else live my life. In that shard, I pounded on the glass, begging to be freed, while the thing in my bedroom, the thing I thought was me, smiled down at my prison. I've been searching for 3 days now, checking every reflection, every window, every puddle of water. Sometimes I catch glimpses of myself, the real me, trapped behind the glass, growing weaker. Sometimes I see others, hundreds of people, all trapped, all replaced. The thing wearing my face goes to work. It eats dinner with my family. It sleeps in my bed. And every night, at 3:33 a.m., it stands before a new mirror and whispers, "Found another one. If you're reading this, check your reflection tonight. Check it carefully. When you smile, does it smile back perfectly? Or is there something behind its eyes, waiting for you to notice the truth?" The estate sale is happening again tomorrow. Different house, same mirror, reformed and whole. $3. What a bargain. My daughter has been dead for 6 months, but she still visits me every night between 2:47 and 2:59 a.m. It started the week after the funeral. I woke to the sound of her music box playing downstairs, the one I'd buried with her because she couldn't sleep without it. The melody was wrong, played backward and too slow, like a record at the wrong speed. I found her standing in the kitchen, still wearing her yellow funeral dress, the one with sunflowers. Her skin was pale blue, her lips purple, but her eyes were alive and terrified. "Daddy," she whispered, and her breath came out as fog. "I only have 12 minutes. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Emma, baby?" "They count the minutes," she said, glancing at the microwave clock. 2:48. "If I stay longer than 12, they keep me." Who keeps you?" She shook her head violently, blonde hair whipping across her face. "The others, the ones who stayed too long. They're hungry, Daddy. So hungry." I reached for her, but my hand passed through her shoulder like cold water. She flickered, becoming transparent for a second, and I saw through her to the kitchen wall. There were scratch marks on the inside of her throat. "I can't touch anything," she sobbed. "I can only watch and remember and hurt. Every night since she comes. 2:47 a.m. exactly. 12 minutes to tell me about the dark place where she waits the other 23 hours and 48 minutes. She describes the screaming that never stops, the things that pretend to be children but have too many teeth, the punishment for dying young. Last night was different. "Daddy," she said at 2:47, but her voice was deeper. "I learned something." Her face was changing, decaying more each visit. Patches of skin had fallen away, revealing gray muscle underneath. What did you learn, baby? How to stay longer. She smiled, and her teeth were black. The others taught me, you just have to bring someone back with you. The clock showed 2:58. Usually, she'd be fading by now, pulled back to wherever she came from. But she remained solid, more solid than ever. 2:59 came and went. 3 o'clock. Emma, you need to go back. I don't want to go back, Daddy. Her hand solidified enough to grab my wrist. Her touch burned like frostbite. But you can come with me. We can be together. 3:01. I tried to pull away, but her grip was iron. Her face split open, revealing rows of teeth going down her throat. The others are so hungry, Daddy. I promised them I'd bring someone. I promised them I'd bring you. 3:02. My skin started turning blue where she touched me. The cold spread up my arm like poison. I could hear them now. Countless voices whispering from inside her mouth, begging to be fed. I grabbed a kitchen knife with my free hand and brought it down on her wrist. It passed through like mist, but she screamed and let go. Not Emma's scream, something ancient and furious. You have to come, she shrieked, her form flickering between my daughter and something else, something made of shadows and teeth. If you don't come, they'll make me stay forever. They'll hurt me worse. The clock showed 3:03. She lunged at me, mouth opening impossibly wide. I closed my eyes, waiting for the end. Silence. When I opened them, she was gone. But written in frost on the kitchen window were the words, "Tomorrow, I bring them all." It's 2:45 a.m. now. I'm sitting in my kitchen, holding a baseball bat I know won't help. I can hear the music box starting to play upstairs, even though I burned it yesterday. 2:46. The temperature is dropping. I can see my breath. 2:47. They're here. All of them. And Emma's not alone anymore.